turning to Cook Inlet Keeper for information on how you can sample your family's drinking water. Public water systems are tested by law, but private water systems, whether it be from a well, spring box, or cistern, are your responsibility alone. Through our Safe Drinking Water program, we offer suggestions on how to take water samples as a service to Alaskans. We aren't experts. We don't endorse any particular products, companies, or services. We just want to help you find out the information you need to be confident in the quality of your drinking water. In this segment, we're going to go over taking water samples, including a lead and copper sample. If you are not sampling for lead and copper, you can skip that step and start with the bacteria tests. So materials used in your plumbing are the most likely source of lead and copper in your water. The night before you take your lead and copper sample, the water needs to sit in the pipes for 6 to 8 hours. You want to make sure that everybody in your house knows to not use the water during that time. You might want to take some containers of water, fill those up so that if folks need water overnight that they have some available. You also might want to put some notes on the taps around the house to remind folks to not use it. In the morning, after the water's sat for 6 to 8 hours, you're going to get your large lead copper sample bottle. You never want to rinse out the bottles. They come with a little bit of acid in them, which is used as a preservative to keep the water sample stable before it gets to the lab. You take your sample bottle, take the top off, fill that up with the first water that comes out of the pipe. That's your first flush. Fill it up to the shoulder, cap the bottle tightly, and you're good. You want to make sure that you fill out all of your bottle labels completely with your name, the date and time, the location sample. That can be the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink. This is going to be for your records, and so should make sense to you, something that you'll understand in the future. And again, the date and the time that you sampled. This first flush also has its own paperwork that comes with it, so you want to make sure that you fill that page out completely as well. Once you finish the lead and copper sample, you're going to want to take your bacteria sample. The bacteria sample is a sterile sample, so you want to make sure that the water, that the test that you're doing is for bacteria that may be in your water, not for the bacteria that may be on your hands or on the counter or on the tap. Really, bacteria are everywhere, and you want to keep that in mind when you're taking this sample. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to wash your hands really well. You're going to want to then take off the screen on the faucet if you have one, and then it's optional but recommended by the lab that you sterilize that faucet tap. So you can either use a capful of bleach to dip that in, or you can, if it's a metal faucet, use a flame to disinfect that. The sample bottles for bacteria are sterile bottles, so you want to make sure that you unwrap them only when you're ready to take the sample. Again, they also have a little bit of a preservative in them, so never rinse the bottle before taking the sample. When you're ready to take the sample, you want to let the water run for 1 to 2 minutes to flush out anything that might be in those pipes, and then turn the water down so it doesn't splash when you go to take the sample. You're going to carefully uncap the bottle and hold that cap in your hand, being again mindful to not contaminate it with your fingers or setting it on the countertop. Place the bottle under the tap, let it fill up to the shoulder, cap it tightly, and you can turn off the water at that point. Again, remember to fill out the labels on your bottles completely, and you're done now with your bacteria sample. The bacteria sample has to remain cool but not frozen until it gets to the lab, and you have 24 hours from the time you took the sample to get the water to the lab for testing. At this point, you can then fill up the remainder of your sample bottles. There's no special instructions that come with these bottles, so you can just take those caps off, fill them up, cap them back tightly, and again, remember to fill out all of the labels completely. Once you've packed all your bottles, make sure that you have all of your paperwork completely filled out, and put them in a plastic bag to keep them from getting wet. Include it in the cooler to go to the lab, and you're all set to go. Check out our other safe drinking water videos for additional help with filling out paperwork and interpreting your drinking water test results. You can always find out more at our website at www.inletkeeper.org.